So then, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, what's been done has been done. Let's have a talk about the race and my thoughts and feelings a couple of days after watching it. Firstly, and I'm pretty sure this is something that I've been saying for about a year now, Piastri, I think, is the more convincing McLaren driver. Now, don't get me wrong, over a single lap, Lando Norris still does have the edge over Piastri, but Lando doesn't have the consistency, and he doesn't quite have the same racecraft. Part of the reason why he's able to perform well when he does is he is leading, he is out front. And I think the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix showed that. I mean, look at his battles with Lewis Hamilton. I know Lewis Hamilton knows the battles through the final quarter of Jeddah better than most other drivers do, given, 2021's existence. But if you're going to try and make a move on the 7-time world champion, at least do it sensibly. It was, twice in a row he tried to overtake Lewis going into the final corner. The first time, Lewis just breezed by. The second time, Lando made a mistake and Lewis just breezed by. And I mean, the fact that it came down to a mistake in qualifying, I mean, it shows how good the top three drivers of the championship are when it comes to how they can perform on track and how well they work with their cars. But at the same time, it is testament to how much Lando struggles if one thing doesn't go right. I think I said this elsewhere on the channel, but Lando reminds me a lot of 2021 Max Verstappen. Verstappen in 2021, his first title, he was relentlessly quick. He deserved the title, but he wasn't the best all-round driver. He could be fast, but he was also prone to making mistakes. He was prone to red mist moments. He was prone to just deciding to go for this and let's see what happens. Whereas the Max Verstappen the Lando's battling against now is basically the finished product. Sometimes he can lose his cool, but the greats do lose their cool. And he's just relentlessly quick and gets the most he can out of anything on a given day, on a given weekend. And I think that is testament to how Max is performing this year, and how I would argue Lando is possibly underperforming. But any review of this race is incomplete without talking about that first corner, hey? Did Piastri out Verstappen? Well, did Verstappen fall foul of a Verstappen rule? Well, it's one of the two, right? Or could be neither, could be both. My view on it, Piastri knew that this was how he was going to have to make the move stick. Verstappen knew that if he could put Piastri in a position that made it look like he wasn't making the corner, he'd be able to just back out. But both of them sort of made mistakes. For Verstappen, he misjudged the situation. He thought that Piastri was going to go out wide, so he just gunned it. And putting the foot to the floor is what caused the problem for Verstappen there. Because you don't choose to just floor it out of the corner and hope that sticks. That's what leads to you getting penalties. In contrast, for Piastri, I would say that he was possibly, maybe not forceful enough. He left the car's width. Well, within the spirit of the rules, he left the car's width. He possibly should have gone, okay, Max probably isn't making the corner, I'm going to take all of this in the optimum line for myself. And who knows, maybe he would have been side by side by the time that safety car came out. I think this penalty was fair, and I think Verstappen knew that the penalty was fair. I doubt that Christian Horner genuinely believed, oh, look at this camera angle. It's giving Ferrari 2019. Ferrari 2019 at the Canadian Grand Prix, when Vettel got his penalty for unsafely rejoining and nearly pushing Lewis Hamilton into a wall. Ferrari protested it at the French Grand Prix, and they came along with not any actual new and conclusive evidence, but rather Karun Chandhok's analysis from the Skypad. And that's what Christian Horner showing up to the debrief after the race going, oh, look at this photo of Max's on board, gives. That's the same kind of vibe it gives, because if you bring in a photo, there's a reason you bring in a photo and not, bringing a screen with full video recording. Eh? Other results listed, I mean, well done to Charles Leclerc for getting the podium, 30 seconds clear of Lewis Hamilton, who was down in 7th. Lewis just doesn't seem to like this track, and he's still trying to get to grips with the setup window on the Ferrari. It's making it clear that Leclerc is established for the team, and I mean, he saw off Sainz, who outperformed Albon this weekend. He saw off Vettel. It's proof that Charles is probably one of the better drivers out there right now that is yet to win a title. Lando recovering to 4th was alright, but realistically, after that quali shunt, which was entirely of his own doing, the fact that he was within a second of Leclerc, that podium should have been his target. He made enough mistakes to cost himself a podium on Sunday. Which, you know, also demonstrates how good that McLaren is. Can't say how good the other Red Bull would have been because Tsunoda hit Gasly and retired from the race. And that was just a product of what this track is. You know, the street circuit that isn't a street circuit. I really don't like the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. I don't like the Jeddah Corniche circuit. And I think if any other, let's say, if the Valencian street circuit had made it fully paved over the entire time, people would have been, oh, this is not really a street circuit, is it? I mean, also, that would mean that the bridge would have to be welded shut permanently. But you get my point. If, for example, let's say the XL circuit, the London Prix circuit, decided they were going to lay down tarmac the entire way and then declared themselves a Grade 1 circuit, they would be laughed at. Quite deservedly as well, I'd say. But here we are now talking about the chance of a potential second Saudi Grand Prix. Or Saudi Arabia PIF buying into a team or making their own team. It's interesting. Anyways, let's wrap this up, talk about the championship picture. Piastri leads Norris by 10 points, Verstappen by 12. George Russell is in 4th on 73 points, and Charles Leclerc in 5th on 47. Then it is Antonelli on 38, Hamilton on 31, Albon now on 10, having scored 4 times in the 5 Grand Prix this season. And then Ocon in 9th and 14, and Lance Stroll still in 10th place on 10 points. What's interesting is looking down towards the tail end of the field and who hasn't got any points yet. 3 of them are rookies or full season rookies, Lawson, Doohan, Bortoletto. But in 17th place, 11th in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, is Fernando Alonso. That's right, Alonso is still yet to score this season. And it seems so utterly strange. He retired from the first 2 races, the 2 where Lance Stroll scored points. And then compared to Stroll, he's massively outperformed him at the other races this season. Lance Stroll, who now has the record for most Q1 eliminations in history, blames the car. It's just utterly fascinating. Meanwhile, in the manufacturer standings, it is McLaren from Mercedes, from Red Bull, from Ferrari. Which is just telling you how dismal a year Ferrari's having right now. The fact that Max Verstappen has outscored the Ferraris combined, when the Ferrari on its day should work out potentially the better car. It shows how well Verstappen understands driving these ground effect cars. You could argue it shows part of what's been an issue for Lewis has been getting to grips with driving these ground effect cars. But it also shows how he's maximising the equipment every week for Verstappen. Because, yes, Ferrari got a double DSQ. But at the same time, there have been occasions like Australia this season where Ferrari have just looked absolutely lost and don't know what's going on with the car. Anyways, those are my thoughts. I'm holding onto my microphone right now, so I'm getting a bit of a cramp in my hand, and I'm going to go have a bit of a rest. Thank you so much for watching, folks, and until next time, it's bye-bye for now.